My name's Tom O'Connor.
What's the name of your business?
Tom O'Connor Photography and Video Production. I didn't go into this business with the idea of becoming a self-employed freelancer. When I was in high school as a senior, my sister had just started a job at NBC in Midtown Manhattan at 30 Rockefeller Plaza. And she invited me to come down and look at what happens at NBC. She said, just come down and visit. So I went to visit her one day, and she said, I'm really busy. Take a walk down the hallway, and when you see this sign, I think it said Studio B or Studio A, I forgot exactly what it was. She said, just walk down there and you can see them doing a dress rehearsal. So I walked into the set, and there were cameras everywhere and lights and all of this. It was just totally mind-blowing. And there were people rehearsing for this show called Saturday Night Live. And I sat down and I was watching Lorraine Newman and Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd, and I had no idea who these people were. But what really got me was all the technical stuff, the audio, the cameras, a couple of cameras on these big booms, the staging, the sets, and all of that. And when I saw that, I thought, this is what I want to do. So I pursued my dream and got into this business with getting a staff job. My first staff job was in Maryland. I ended up working for a company that did patient education videos, and I started at the bottom. It started as a grip. I learned how to become a grip. The crew was small enough that they were able to take me out and show me the ropes and how things work. So after a while, I learned how to all about lighting and how to put lights on stands and extension cords and amperages and all of those different kind of things. So that's how I got my start. So I stayed with that company for a little over 17 years. But during that time, I worked my way from a grip to a gaffer up to an assistant cameraman, which back then we were doing film, so I became an AC. And different staff would leave and they would go out on their own, and I still stayed in touch with them. But the next thing I knew, I was the DP at this company. It just went, everything followed in line. And after, I guess, about 15 years, I thought, I don't think I'm going to get any further with this company. So I started reaching out and putting out questions and finding out what other people did. And that's when I thought, I think I can do this on my own. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll give it a try. I always tell people this was a leap of faith. I did a swan dive off the roof of my house and said, oh God, what am I going to do? But what I did, I had a friend that worked for the local CBS affiliate, WJZ Channel 13. And I asked Mike, I said, do they ever hire freelancers? And he said, yes. And as a matter of fact, we're looking for some freelancers right now. So I said, could I come in for an interview? And he said, absolutely. So I went in and they said, well, it was great to meet you and we'll let you know. So a month went by and 2 months went by, and I started, during that time, I would call and say, hi guys, just wanted to remind you that I'm still here, very much interested in doing this. Well, they finally called me, and actually, this guy, his name was Fred Thomas. He called and he said, stop calling us so much. By the way, you start on Monday. So I left the patient education company on a Friday and started at CBS on Monday. And it was like a 3 weeks of training, going out in the live trucks and learning how to get a microwave signal back to TV Hill, where the huge antennas and all of that. And I started my career in news after all those years. A lot of it was word of mouth. I met so many people, and I met so many guys that were freelancers But it's funny, a freelancer is not exactly a word that I like. You're when you become independent, when you're working for yourself, the government considers you a company, a small company. You're paying taxes, you have to pay taxes quarterly, and they look at you as a small business. So I never said I was a freelancer, you know. I said, you know, I'm a lighting cameraman, and this is what I do for a living. So it still kind of irks me to this day when somebody says, "Yeah, I'm a freelancer." You're a lot more than a freelancer. I never incorporated at the suggestion of my accountant. He said being a sole proprietor is fine. So, and it's worked all these years that I've been an independent. There are a lot of off seasons, but that also depends on what you do. You know, guys that make a living shooting baseball, you know, when it gets cold out, you can't play baseball. So, a lot of the guys that I know that shoot that work in baseball, when when the cold season comes in, that's when they get into hockey. They start shooting basketball. So it's a tight knit community, depending on where you live.
Okay.
I've never experienced slow months because I cover so much. I do sports, but I also do corporate, and corporate always needs something throughout the year. 12 months, there's always something that they need. So as far as seasonal things, so far I haven't been affected. My little trick was try not to spend money and get everything into savings. Pay your bills, but have a nice savings account because it does get slow. No matter what you're in, but there are slow times. So you need something to carry you through those slow times, whether it's 4 weeks or 8 weeks. Always have that cushion to cover yourself. I found that being your own boss really, it's not that difficult with the financial aspects, especially if you have a good accountant. They're an accountant that is familiar with your business. It is a definite plus. But I found that over the years, I contacted the other guys, other people that were in the same line of work, and you build this rapport, this camaraderie, where you're helping each other out, and you can ask these guys, so what do you do in the slow times? So we all kind of help each other out. It's a pretty good sized community. The most important thing that I found is, what do I want to make a year? How many vacation days do I want to have? Because nobody's going to pay for your vacation days. The only one that's going to be able to do that is yourself. So you want to build in vacation time. So what do I need to pay the mortgage, to pay the car insurance, to pay liability insurance, to pay camera equipment insurance? And it's all very doable, but you need to shoot for a mark every year. What do I want to make? It's funny, the advantages and disadvantages of working for yourself. I find that people say, it must be really nice being your own boss. You can do whatever you want. You can work whenever you want or not work. Not true. There have been some nights where I haven't gotten any sleep because I've been driving to the next location or whatever. That comes with the territory. When somebody calls and says, "I need you to do a shoot at such and such a place," and let's say you're planning on going on vacation that week, I usually turned the vacation down. I didn't go on vacation. I would take the job and say, well, the vacation can wait, unless I had airplane tickets and a hotel and things like that. But being your own boss is tough because you want to get out there. You want to make as much money as you can, for those slow times. You have to take care of your 401k. You need to set up retirement. You need to plan for those days off, and you also have to take care of your own health insurance. So it was a pretty cumbersome, but it's all doable. You get to do all kinds of different things, especially as you get better at what you're doing. I would shoot sports. I would end up, shooting corporate. I did stuff for the government. I did stuff for local channels and national channels. But it was such a diversity of things. That's the advantages of being in this business. You get to see all kinds of things, and you build up a really nice resume, and it's fun. I've shot for CNN and MSNBC and ESPN and CBS and all different networks. The fun part is some of the jobs that I've gotten. A week's coverage of the Pope coming to the United States. I ended up working for one day for the Steve Harvey show, and he wanted to go and interview Barack Obama. So I ended up getting one of the camera positions on that job, and I met the president. But I met all kinds of presidents. I met George Bush, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, like I just said. I've done 3 inaugurations, which is so much fun. And it's these are blocks of time. I mean, and time is money, so it paid off pretty nicely. The only real difficulties, and it really isn't a difficulty for me, it's the marketing aspect. It is that can be kind of tough. I'd rather drink a cup of coffee and sit on the deck or go to the pool, or but you got to make those calls. You've got to say, hey, I'm here. I haven't talked to you for a while. Is there anything going on? Is there anything that I can do for you? So doing the marketing can be a little tough. And the financial aspect of it, again, it's not real difficult, but trying to stay ahead of the curve by making sure that your savings are good. And then I set up an IRA and was contributing to that. So in the long run, it's paid off pretty well. I think if you want to follow a similar career path that I've done, I found that staying on top of what is the latest technology, what is everybody shooting on, what would I need if I wanted to have my own camera gear and my own lighting gear. There are guys that can make somewhat of a decent living just working for, let's say, since I'm from Baltimore, there's guys that shoot Orioles baseball, but obviously they're using the camera gear that's on that TV truck. A lot of these guys don't have their own gear, but I decided that as a small business owner, I wanted to have the equipment so that when people called and said, "Can you do such and such?" I can say, "Yes, I've got the cameras, I've got lighting, I've got everything you need. Where do you want me to show up?" Get the college degree. Get the education and stay in college. Even push the limits if you can. Get your master's in this. I find that I look at I'm on a lot of these job sites, and these jobs come in, and one of the main requirements is you have to have your degree. It used to be high school education is close enough. And actually, in some cases, that's really all you need. Like the local channels here in Baltimore, high school degree, a high school diploma is really all you need. But if you really want to get ahead, if you really want to do the stuff that you want to do, for instance, working on a major motion picture, they want somebody that's put out the effort and got their degree and learned all about this as well as business. If you can do a double major and include business, I would definitely recommend that. If you can find workshops, for instance, in the state of Maine, there's an organization called the Maine Workshop where they do lighting classes, lighting courses, and you are pushed to the limits of, your abilities. And everybody gets to work with each other on these things. But they have lighting courses, they have cinematography courses, photography courses, they have acting courses, audio courses, and you learn a lot, and you can make lots and lots of good contacts. I think to become a successful entrepreneur, especially in our business, is networking, and then again having an education, finding people that are doing similar things and becoming involved with them. There's never a problem. The competition isn't that bad that somebody won't talk to you. At least that's what I've found. Advertising, networking, a website. Get yourself out there. Get yourself known. It's funny. I look back here. I look at all my camera equipment, all my camera gear, and every once in a while, it's like, how did I do this? I can't believe I've gone this far. This was something, one of my earliest experiences becoming interested in this business was I grew up right outside of New York City, and I was in Grand Central Station one day, and either they were shooting a movie or they were shooting a commercial. And I remember standing back and just watching what was going on. Obviously, I missed the subway and I was late going to school, but I thought, wow, this is really, really neat stuff. So it's kind of been in my blood forever. I've always been interested in this kind of stuff. But I learned 27 years ago when I started my own business that it would be very helpful if I had my own camera gear. So when I started, I would rent camera gear. I would, rent camera, lights, audio, and pay the rental fee. But I was able to incorporate that into my invoice. So once I really got going and I had momentum going, I took out a small loan and bought my first camera, which is that camera right there. So I'm actually considering buying another camera this far into my career. But I did this job for PBS, the local Maryland affiliate, Maryland Public TV. It's a show called Outdoors Maryland, and I did a shoot about these people that live in Western Maryland who make their own maple syrup, and they sell the maple syrup to be able to buy feed for their cows, and they had quite a lot of cows. So I ended up doing a shoot about this family on how they make this maple syrup and how they sell it. And it was really funny. Every time I looked through the viewfinder and composed the shot, I said to myself, this looks like a Hallmark card. I can't believe what this is looking like. And one of the producers at Maryland Public TV said, you should enter this piece for an Emmy. So I said, okay, what the heck, I'll just do it, and it'll be fun. Well, I found out that I was nominated for this Emmy, and I went to the Emmy Awards banquet, and they called my name. I won an Emmy for this show. It's a regional Emmy, but still, it was good for the ego, and again, good for my business, and it's just fun to say that I have an Emmy. And there's a lot of my peers that have walls with their Emmys all over it. So, but at least I got one of them. And back in the old days, when I first started, there wasn't electricity. He's going to have an editing nightmare. My older sister and my crying dog.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep it quiet.
This is exactly what it's like out there.
Really?
Exactly.
I'm trying to keep it quiet.
Weed whackers, birds, garbage trucks,